Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday afternoon. Stitch It Pam here. I'm sorting through some of my bone crochet hooks and tools, sewing tools, and I just thought I'd go live while I'm doing this here. I've been collecting for, let's see here, 40 plus years here. So actually started collecting thimbles back in 1980. My grandmother gave me her thimble, and that started the whole thing. My dad made me a shadow box to put my thimbles in, and like I said, that was in 1980, and slowly collected through the years. Here and there, I got some as gifts. I also collect pin cushions and a variety of things. Darners, sock darners, glove darners, sewing spools, antique buttons, vintage antique buttons. Variety of stuff. Shuttles, tatting shuttles, even though I don't know how to tat. One of these days I will teach myself. One of these days I'll share some of my antique buttons with you. I belong to the Wisconsin State Button Society and the National Button Society. I also have some bone buttons too. Most of these are made of cattle bones, cows and whatnot. I know a long time ago, before it became endangered, different things were made of ivory from tusks, but that since has been outlawed. You can't do that, nor would I want them doing that. But a lot of these bone items are made from cattle bones, cows and different cattle. The bone crochet hooks are getting more scarce by the day. I started collecting them a long time ago, so I have obtained quite a collection here, but this one here is double-ended. It's got one on each side. You can actually tell that it's bone because there's let's see if I can get it to focus in here. There's little lines or striations in here that shows that it's bone. I can tell the difference anyhow. You can see it a little better on this one here. Let's see here if I can get it to focus. See those brown straggly lines on there? That's bone. I think this one might be able to be unscrewed too. Some of them are made like that where they come apart. Let's see here. Yep. This one looks like it got broke on the end here. Let's see here. That one's also bone. This here is a bobbin lace made for, these were used for making bobbin lace. I have a variety of these. Let's see here. I was just sorting them here. Once I get them sorted, I can show you better. But here, right here's a bunch of them. They all have their own little carving on them. Here's a hook with just the center is bone. This is rather worn here. Here's a bone. I don't knit. Probably on my bucket list. This is a bone crochet hook or bone knitting needles, circular. There's another bobbin lace tool. This is really a small crochet hook. Wow. Not sure what they used it for, but can't remember the name of these. I think they're threaders. A few years back, I got this case. It's, let's see here. Well, the words are backwards, but hi, Mr. Chubby Hubby. How'd you find my channel? This is a box that they actually came in. I'm thinking that these were at the store in this box that you could. It's called the Gem Cabinet. Uh, it says 1/2 gross of bone crochet hooks, and so I'm thinking that the stores received their supply in this book. I mean, in this box, and then you know it's probably a display piece. Oh, yeah, Josie's Place. Yes. I'm familiar with Josie and Miss Southern Belle. Thank you for coming in and watching. Do you collect vintage sewing stuff or antiques or? Yeah, I collect a lot of vintage stuff too. This is just a little portion of my collection. I've sold in the past too. Still do, but just taking a little break. Old paper and coins, yes. I love Emphyrema. I can never pronounce it. I've got a lot of sewing Emphyrema. I probably would be going to a flea market on a holiday weekend like this, but it's too hot here. It's in the 90s in Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. Gee, how old are you, Rox? Yes, I've known of many rock collectors. I'm not a rock collector myself, but I have been to some rock shows. Oh, you're in Michigan. Yes. Okay, so you're kind of my neighbor. Yeah, we did a loop around, my husband and I, a few years ago. We did a loop around Michigan and went to Mackinac Island, and we spent a whole week doing the whole loop, staying in different places. It's pretty cool. Yeah, us too. Yeah, well, thanks for stopping by. I just go live periodically. I don't really have a set time right now. Whenever I get the mood. Yeah, I don't have a set schedule or anything right now. I'm actually just a part-time seller, and I've been taking a break this last year um, uh, to kind of create some of my crafts, and I have quite the stash of collections. But yeah, anyhow, I've been selling on eBay for since the 90s. So I'm just taking a break. Sure what this was used for, but it's definitely bone. This one here is missing the bottom piece, but I'm sure it's interchangeable probably with that other one. Another bobbin lace tool. Vintage tape measure. This part looks like it's bone. Yes, this part's bone. Got lots of tape measures too. My collection, like I said, started with thimbles and just kind of grew. It's even got a bone ring on the end here. This crochet hook's got a little bit different handle on it. Let's see, what's it say on it? August 17th, 1915, size 6, MEF. This one actually looks like celluloid, maybe. This one might be celluloid. This is a celluloid tatting shuttle. Let's see here. There's a difference in that. You can see the difference in the grain. I don't know on here if you can see that or not, but it's kind of hard to see. This has got straighter lines through it. I know for sure that's celluloid here, and this is definitely bone. This one's old. It's got a wheat design on it. You can tell it's been used a lot. Look at that. From the oils of the finger. The person tatting with it probably held it there. Yeah, and this is celluloid. That's a vintage plastic. It's very flammable. It's got lines straight going down. The pattern is different in the celluloid like that. It goes straight down versus, and this one here, this crochet hook is actually celluloid too. I had it mixed in there with my bone stuff, but anybody hanging out in the balcony, don't be afraid to say hi. There's another double-ended crochet hook. Crocheting is one of my favorite crafts, although I've been recently getting into junk journaling, scrap, journaling. I started that in January, and I also like to sew. This is a long crochet hook, and it's bone, probably used for Tunisian, Tunisian crochet. I didn't realize I had so many bobbins. Wow, it's crazy. I'm sure a few of these are ivory. Actually, ivory. Probably shouldn't put them in here. This is for crochet hooks, but these are threaders. I can't remember the official name for them, but some of these smaller crochet hooks can go in here. Yeah, I like this one. You can see the brown straggly lines on there. You can tell it's bone. At least I can tell it's bone by that. And bone buttons will show that same thing. Bone buttons were used on men's underwear and undergarments. Women's. These are really unique here with the carved downs on them. Those are definitely too long to go in there. Oh, here's another one of those. That's celluloid. That's a size 14. Must have came from the same collection here. That must be the name of it. DIADEM. I'll have to look that up. 1915. Over 100 years old. Isn't that something? This one's really got a tiny hook on it. I mean, really tiny. I don't know how those ladies did that. Crocheted with those tiny hooks like that. The thread had to be really... I got a few glass facet cut buttons in here, really tiny ones. These are really tiny. And they have a 4-way box shank on them. A box shank because that's the shape of it. And 4 ways because there's 4 different holes all the way around. Black glass. Hi, Ma. How are ya? I'm just sorting my bone crochet hooks here. It's part of my collection. I got some bobbin lace tools here. A bone shuttle. Bone crochet hook or knitting needles. Yeah, I've been collecting for a while. This is actually a bone crochet hook display case that they would have had in the store. It says Gem Cabinet on it. And believe it or not, Gem, my favorite crochet hook, my favorite metal crochet hook is got that brand name of Gem on it. And Gem no longer makes crochet hooks. I think another company took over for Gem with the crochet hooks. Maybe Susan Bates or anyhow. I'm not really sure what these were used for. Maybe, I don't know. They got a size on them. Maybe for depth, measuring depth. I don't know. I'll have to look I'll have to do some research on these. They look like a file, but they're obviously not a file, and they're made of bone. Hi, Stacy May. Oh, yeah. I'm just sorting my bone crochet hooks and tools here, Stacy. These are for making bobbin lace. If you rewatched a video earlier. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of these. I didn't realize I had so many. I wouldn't have bought that bobbin lace kit earlier in the season. I knew I had a few, but I forgot how many. Yeah, anyhow. There's some fancy crochet hooks here. Let's see, I just had one I was looking at with the end really tiny. How'd you like to crochet with that one, Stacy May? This one is really tiny. Let's see if I can focus that in. Boy, it's so small I can't even get it. Let's see. Yeah, like this one here, this is celluloid handle. It says number 14, 1915 on it. And so it must be a size 14. Boy, I can barely see it. It's crazy. Focus. Focus. If I get something black, you might be able to see it. Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, here. Oh, it's hard to see it. It's pretty small. Yeah. Your white elephant is a 14? Okay. Yeah, I know you've been stitching a lot, Stacy May, with that fine, thin thread and uh, creating different projects with it. I was just showing them my tatting shuttle here. I don't know how to tat yet, but this one's made of bone. And you can actually see wear on it where the person held onto it. The bone is worn on there, kind of corroded. It's got a carved wheat pattern on it, you should say. I should say. Oh yes, I started digging them out. And I, I think I have more stuffed away somewhere. But yeah, this one's really little, man. And this is for gloves. It's got a crack in it. This one I think is made of ivory, but um, to put into a glove. This is a long one here, Stacy May. I think that this maybe is for Tunisian or you woke from a nap to check to see who was live and seam stitch it, Pam. I decided at the last minute I was going to do this. And what prompted it? Yes, Tunisian. I figured so. I've never tried this one, but I do have some long. Okay, Stacy. I do have some long metal ones like this. Yeah, I just decided. Hi, Pam. Thanks for stopping in. This is a last minute thing. I was sorting through my bone crochet hooks and um, I have a lot of metal ones too, the tiny old metal ones too, that, you know, in different sizes and shapes, like this one here. It's got a fancy carved design on the bottom. Well, that one's small too. And these here, I think they're threaders. I got to look them up in my book again, but there's a variety here. I've been collecting them through the years. You know, I go to a lot of flea markets and estate sales in the past, not recently, but and you know, I get them here and there, and after 40 years, you start to accumulate. Thank you, Pam. I have a big sewing collection too, with pin cushions and tape measures, advertising tape measures, and oh yeah, lots of. It started with one thimble, believe it or not. Started with one thimble. Yes, made in Germany. Yes, some of my metal ones have a German name on them. I've sold a few in the past on Etsy that I had duplicates of, but I haven't listed on there for a while. Yeah, they're no longer produced. Yep, that I believe it. Yeah, I got a lot of metal ones too. We'll save those for another day. This one's kind of nifty because it's squared off around there where you hold on to it. That's a different kind of design rather than round. Vega de Crochet. I'll have to look that crystal up. Okay, so that one tool is driving me crazy. I can't remember the name of it. Oh boy. I got a lot of antique sewing books and cotton books. That threader is, I think it's a threader, but there's a different kind of name for it. Sewing machines, I've got sewing machines. This is one thing I don't have yet, though. Needle cases, I got a variety. Okay. Here's that page. Oh, I got some of those too. Yeah, I got a few of these winders too for thread somewhere. Some of those too. Okay, great. Thanks, Stacy. Oops. Oh, I'm having problems opening that. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. All right. Trying to look up the name of those. They're threaders of some type, but I won't bore you with them right now. Oh, I got a lot of scissors too. There's the bobbin lace things here. Sewing kits. Yeah, here's one of those threaders in that kit there. So, anyhow, those are used for threading something. The official name slips my mind. Some of these have to go back in my display cabinet. What actually prompted this whole thing was I got this book here at a thrift store for 50 cents. And I'm mirrored. Sorry about that. The wording is backwards, but it's the Ultimate Crochet Bible, a complete reference to step-by-step techniques. I got a lot of books, but I was impressed, and let alone get it for 50 cents. Anybody that wants to know about crocheting and tools and stuff, they got it in here. Man, and it's definitely a Bible, a complete reference to the different. Oh, it's you can see it right on your side, Stacy. The lettering isn't backwards. That's good. But oh, okay, great. Thanks, Ma. Yeah, this is what prompted it. And I got to this page of choosing a hook, and it has all the different hook sizes and the different types of hooks, wooden, plastic, bone, and that's what the vintage hooks got me looking at all my bone hooks. And 50 cents I paid for this book. It's just phenomenal. It goes through the other equipment that you'd use. Different types of yarn, cotton, silk, wool. The thread number for the hook size, which I know Stacy May's been talking a lot about because she's been crocheting with that fine thread. Choosing a yarn. Anybody that's into crocheting, this is a fantastic book. It's got big pictures of the stitches, which most of those I've done, but how to join circles, I know you can Google a lot of this stuff, but sometimes a person just wants a book. stitch directory. This is something I've never followed now. I'm sure Stacy May probably has because she's doing those by a picture, using a picture right now, and it shows different. You're looking at the stitch directory and the symbols that stands for a certain type of stitch. So if a person's writing a pattern, it would be beneficial to do that. I have written patterns before. I have a couple on my Etsy shop, but never gotten to the point where I have a directory like that. This is a basket weave stitch here, and I've been using that stitch. I've been crocheting this baby blanket, and that's that stitch. It's basket weave. It's kind of a thick, it almost makes you almost looks like it's knitted, but it's called a basket weave. And you work in the front post and in the back post, like this one's the front post, this one's the back post, and that's how you get that pattern on there. Yeah, I figured you could, Stacy. When I saw that in here, I thought of you right away. A lot of these stitches I've done, but it's kind of nice to have something like this as a, a follow-up handy, Here's a popcorn stitch, or what Shannon calls the art junkie. Shannon, she likes to crochet, and she uses the bobble stitch on her washcloths. She says she can scrub with them. Here, oh yeah, there is actually a bobble stitch. Here's the bobble stitch. And if you go on to our Art Junkie's channel, she also makes cards and stuff, but she recently learned how to crochet, and she's been using a lot of this bobble stitch on her dishcloths. I thought that's kind of creative. Here's the bullion stitch. I've never done that one on a crochet pattern yet. I recently tried it on this year, the bullion stitch embroidering, but never with crocheting. I've done the loop stitch. I made a lot of Cabbage Patch hats, and I used the loop stitch on the brow, or the bang area. Okay, two kinds of bobbles. And here's something I haven't done in particular. I know Stacy May has, because she's got that topsy-turvy doll that she made with beads on it. And I've done different beads on hats, but not something little and intricate like this. Chevron stitch. I've made a few hats with a chevron stitch. shell and fan stitch. That's used a lot in the granny squares. Yeah, so this is quite the book. Here's the section on thread crochet. Let's see here. Filet crochet. And that's what Stacy May's kind of working on right now, I think. That's what it's called. Let's see here. Yeah, here. Filet squares. Just can't imagine following those kind of, I'd go bonkers. I'd have to enlarge it really large to see it. And your attention, my attention span, just, I'd have to be in a quiet room to count every little thing. It's quite the skill. Well, here's the Irish crochet. I've never done that. You're working over a foundation cord. Yeah, I would imagine, Stacy, that chart is deceptive if you don't know how it works. This design reminded me when I was looking here at those metal things that you had in the Maker Showcase. They were round, and you can use them for a variety of things like magnets or the front of your journal. You know what I'm talking about that you were selling. I think there was one similar to this design. Well, you had lots of designs, but when I saw that, it reminded me of that. Oh, filet crochet is like tatting? Oh, yeah, real fine. Yes, embellishments. Anybody that's missed the Maker Showcase, Stacy May Catitude, she had a Maker Showcase. Yeah, Irish Crochet. She had a Maker Showcase this week, and her and a few other ladies were selling their handmade items. And if you view that video, you can always contact the person, you know, for it. I'm trying to find your channel here, Stacy, to share you out here. Let's see here. Trying to share your channel here. You can feel free to share it if you like, Stacy. I know you don't always post your own. Or if Ma, if you're still in there, you can share your channel and Stacy's. I don't know why I can't click on there. Let's see here. Oh, here's the section. There you go. Thank you, Pam. You feel free to share your own channel, Pam, and anybody else that you're familiar with here in the chat. Now this chapter's on Tunisian crochet. I had never done Tunisian crochet, but over the big shutdown 3 years ago, I did order some hooks online and try it out. And that's, you know, work using a big long hook. Or I have circular Tunisian crochet hooks that are sort of similar to this bone knitting needle here. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks for sharing Pam's channel. Let's see. This chapter's on choosing colors. Working from a chart. Thank you for sharing Jennifer's channel. Check out Jennifer. Jennifer also has a very nice Etsy shop. She sells jewelry and vintage other items on there. There's actually a chapter in here about stitching beads on. Oh, here it is. Beads and sequins. Beads and sequins. I talked about that topsy-turvy doll that Stacy May has. That on the doll's dress, it has beads on it that are stitched on it. There's even a section in here on freeform crochet. I haven't done that yet, but it's on my bucket list. And broomstick crochet. I do have a big broomstick crochet hook that I haven't broomstick crocheted in a long time. I think I did it in the 70s the last time. I actually have some antique hairpin crochet lace tools too. Save that for another day. I kind of like this freeform crochet. It's so unique looking. It reminds me of the 70s for some reason. Yeah, yes. The hairpin lace, Stacy? Or the broomstick? Oh yeah, the broomstick. My dad, he worked in a factory for 40 years, working with steel and putting ice cream machines together. Anyhow, back in the day, they could have certain things made if they paid for them. And he had a steel broomstick tool made for me for doing broomstick crochet. I have it stashed away somewhere. It's made of steel. It's heavy. Hi, Cal. I was just showing this book here that I got, Cal, for 50 cents. It's a crochet Bible. Got it in one of my thrift stores. Thanks for sharing Cal's channel, Stacy. Yeah, and it shows the different edgings and braids. Putting fringe on. Well, that's kind of fancy there. It's got knots on it. That one there. Tassels, making different types of tassels. Pointed fan edging. Wow. Embellishments. Yep. Here's the section where they actually cross-stitched on these different crocheted pieces. Satin stitch, stem stitch, chain stitch. Some of these I just learned this year. The blanket stitch. Oh, I should know the name of that. Sewing around posts. Wow. Get a gander on that one, Cal. That's U-shaped tool that's used with a crochet hook. I think it's for hairpin. Yep. Wish I had a book to teach it to me. Yeah, it's in here. It just shows the picture and what it's for. I actually have some antique hairpin lace, made of metal that are antique. I've never used them, but they're part of my collection. Here it is. Yeah, here's the hairpin lace. The Fiber Arts Show, Woolen Fiber Arts Show is in Wisconsin next weekend. I won't be able to go to it, but it's a woolen sheep show, where you can watch people spin different types of wool and go to different classes and buy natural made yarn and fibers. Oh, it belonged to your grandmother? Okay, that's cool. Even better when you have tools from your relatives. Yeah, so here's the next step in your process, Cal. Embroidering on crochet pieces. Anybody out there that has, are you done with your stitch tutorials now, Cal? On Cal's channel, she does stitch tutorials. Yeah, there's tutorials for Cal. decorative flowers, making cording, layering flowers, twisted cords, and pom-poms. I have a few pom-pom makers. There's those stitch directories again. Stacy May. And sewing seams together. Oh, here's joining circles. Yes, on your paper quilling, that's excellent. Well, you have your tutorials in there for anybody that wants to go back and watch them. That's great. Joining blocks or granny squares. Making a buttonhole. I've done that before on things. Sewing buttons on. Making a door set button. That's on my bucket list. Hi, Chris. I'm just going through this book I got at a thrift store for 50 cents. It's The Ultimate Crochet Bible. 50 cents. It's a fantastic book. I got a lot of crochet books, but sewing on a zipper, all sorts of things here. Oh boy. Thanks for sharing Chris's channel, Pam. Oh, you're going to teach the quilling on Stacy's channel? I mean on not Stacy's. Oh boy. Beth's channel. Yeah, so this book prompted me to troubleshooting back here too. That's pretty good. You know how to define why your motif is not flat. Um, Keeping it round and flat. That was a learning experience for me, and once in a while I still goof up when I don't count stitches. Yeah, so this book got me motivated to get out my bone crochet hooks and this cabinet box I got a few years back. Oh, you've got quilling material too? That's one thing I've never done. I'm so into this journaling, junk journaling now that It looks very challenging. So I'll have to watch Stacy with Beth. Yeah, I got paper all right. Yeah, that's happened to me, Pam, several times. And all it takes is a distraction. And, the bummer part is if you're making it to fit somebody, if you don't go back and straighten it out, it'll turn out totally um, different than what you wanted. Okay, Stacy. I've took apart many a pieces because of a mistake, and even way down in the rows. Once you've crocheted for a while, you can actually see a mistake down in the pattern, but I know, congratulations. Yes. She getting along okay, Pam? I know you mentioned she was in the NICU still. Boy, you've been a busy mom with school starting and granddaughter and a few years ago the Cabbage Patch hats were real popular for crochet, and I've made I don't know how many Cabbage Patch hats. I still get a few orders here and there for them, but not like it was. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yes, grandbabies are wonderful. I have 5 of them, and the oldest one is a senior this year. I just can't hardly believe it. Seems like he was born yesterday. Oh, thanks, Ma. This actually started with a skein of yarn that I got at a sale in a bag of skeins. Like I needed more yarn, like a hole in my head. And I got it up to about this far, and um, the skein ran out. Well, took me a while to track down what brand it was, but I finally figured it out. So this is going to be an Afghan, maybe a lap Afghan or a baby Afghan. I haven't decided. It's just one of those mindless things that I'm really into this basket weave stitch right now. I made a bunch of dishcloths with this basket weave pattern, and yes, yeah, I do too. I'm real careful about which ones I buy though. Um yeah, anyhow. Yeah, the rest of the skeins in the bag had the labels on them. They were unused, but they were a different type of yarn where this one was missing the label. I finally tracked it down to mandala. I got these at Walmart. I'm using an F size hook, which I haven't used for a while. Um, I haven't crocheted with a 3-ply for quite a while. Well, I should say I put 2 strands together and crocheted with a bigger hook, but yeah, Lion brand. This is something I can sit in front of the TV and, you know, work on. Where if I'm working on a hat, I have to, even though I've made some of the hats over and over again, follow my rows and count, make sure the stitches are right. And yeah, I have homespun yarn. That's nice. The chunky style um, homespun, the what they call the bulky. I've made a lot of hats out of that for my crochet site on Etsy. Um, they also have medium weight too. Yeah, this is actually a, yeah, number 3. Recommended hook size is an H, but I started working with an F on it. I just chose it because I kind of just made the pattern up. Yeah, it is. I like the what do they call this? Like a graduating color scheme. I've been making hats like crazy here too, and um I just thought I better try something different. It's a project you can just sit in front of the TV with. You don't have to focus so much on it. Yeah. Um, I've worked, I've made several hats out of the bulky, um, thick and quick, um, thick quick yarn. It's 20% wool and 80% acrylic. I have a couple different patterns that I've sold on Etsy in the past that I like to use. Um, but the homespun bulky works the same as that thick and quick. It's a different feel. Is it pretty nice yarn, Cal? That's one thing I haven't ordered from Temu is the yarn. I've got bins and bins of yarn that's um, sealed up, that I bought for making hats on Etsy because I used to have a color chart on my Etsy shop. So I'd have to have, you know, the colors according to my color chart where a person could custom order what color they wanted. I no longer have the color charts on there because when the big C hit during the shutdown, um, I wasn't able to get some of the colors that were on my chart, and so yeah. Anyhow, well, I really appreciate you guys coming in here and supporting me. I know it was a last minute thing, and anybody that didn't get a chance to see the beginning, um, you can watch that at another time when I was going through my bone um, crochet tools and tatting shuttles. Um, like I said, I might do that with some of my other sewing things eventually here um, another time. But I appreciate you coming in, and I'll try to give a little more warning next time, but seems like I'm more sporadic than anything else. So, but get supper in the slow cooker, and it's getting to be around that time. So, thanks again for coming in. And yes, it does, Ma. Seems to be that it does. So, you guys all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in some of the other chats and lives. Thanks again.